Let's make delicious sourdough bread with this easy recipe, perfect for beginners. So let's get straight into the recipe. So we are going to start off by getting our active bubbly starter. As you can see here, mine was very ready to be used. I go ahead and measure 135 grams of active starter on this scale. That is very helpful for those who are trying to be very precise with their baking. So I go ahead and do that, and then I add 780 grams of warm filtered water. You can see how my starter instantly starts to float, which is a good indication that it is ready. So once I do that, I usually tend to mix these two together until it becomes a milky consistency in the water, but I forgot, which is okay. The bread still turned out fine. Then I added 1,000 grams of unbleached bread flour. I zeroed out my scale, and then I added 20 grams of sea salt. So once I have all my ingredients in the bowl, I go ahead and mix everything together with this bread whisk, I'm assuming it is. I mix everything for at least 5 minutes, but I'd like to mix the dough for 10. So I go ahead and set a timer, and I mix everything together with this whisk. You can go ahead and do it with your hands too, but I feel like the dough gets a little bit too sticky, and then I just have so much dough left over on my hands. So I just do it with the whisk, but I go ahead and mix it very vigorously, and I make sure that I get every single flour from the bowl. So I go back and forth, left and right, for 10 full minutes until all of the ingredients are very well incorporated. Here, I think I'm at the 6-minute mark, and you can see that all the ingredients are basically very well mixed together, and the dough is not really sticking to the whisk anymore, which is what we want. So just go ahead and keep mixing for 10 minutes. And here is what 10 minutes looks like. I go ahead and try to scrape all of the edges off the bowl. I also use the spatula silicone thing scraper to try to get the dough off the sides of the bowl as best as I can. I got this in a Amazon package, so I can link it down below if you guys want to buy it. But here is the dough, and then I just cover it with a cloth for 1 hour, and then we start doing the stretch and folds. So we do 4 stretch and folds. We do 1 on each side until we get all around the dough. You want to wet your hands a little bit before doing this, that way the dough doesn't stick to your hands too much. And then once we do that, we wait 30 minutes and we go ahead and do our second stretch and fold. You can see here that the dough is getting a little bit more firm. It's not really sticking to our hands anymore. So once we're done here, we're going to go ahead and cover our dough once again with our cloth or towel or whatever it is you have on hand. And then we're going to wait another 30 minutes. So here we are starting our third stretch and folds. My daughter's actually helping me because she loves doing this part. So this is the third stretch and fold. And you can already tell that the dough is getting a little bigger. The dough obviously is less stickier, and it's just coming along so much better. So then once again, after the third stretch and fold, we are going to cover our dough and we're going to let it sit for another 30 minutes. So now this is our fourth stretch and fold, our last one. So then we're going to go ahead and repeat the process once again. And then once we are done here, we're going to put the cloth over our dough. We're going to let it sit and bulk ferment depending on the temperature of your home. Mine takes about 8 hours from the moment I mix my dough. And you can do a little poke test to see if it's ready. And mine was. So I go ahead and put it on a clean surface. I actually forgot to flour my cutting board. So don't forget to do that. That way, your dough doesn't stick to the cutting board. Because since I don't have like those ceramic, big, spacious countertops, I try to do it on this cutting board, and sometimes it gets a little bit sticky. But, it all worked out. So yeah, and once I do this, I go ahead and cut my dough into two, because I am going to be making 2 loaves today. I actually made a jalapeno cheddar loaf last week, and I finished all of my jalapeno and sharp cheddar, or else I would have shown that in this video. But if you were to do some inclusions, you would add them here. So now I am just folding the top towards the center, and then the bottom towards the center, or over the center part. And then I go ahead and just, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just showing you here in the video. I just roll it, and I've seen so many videos. So this is just what I've been doing, and it seems to work out just perfectly fine. I just try to put like all the seams under the dough by like creating tension as I roll it. So, this is what I just keep doing, and I just go ahead and flour my banneton, I think is what it's called, to go ahead and put my dough into it. So I just go ahead and put my dough in here, and I go ahead and do the same for the other half loaf. I just go ahead and shape it and put it into the banneton as well. And I put both into a Ziploc bag just to put it in my fridge. Usually I've seen people do like shower caps or some sort of like cloth cover, but I don't have any of those, so I just use my handy dandy Ziploc bags, and they work just fine. So I go ahead and put it in the fridge overnight, and in the morning it is ready to bake. So now it's the next day. The dough was sitting in my fridge for 12 hours, and now it's ready to bake. So I preheated my oven to 500 degrees with my Dutch oven in there. I try to let my Dutch oven be preheated with the oven on for at least 1 hour before I put my dough to bake in there. So I go ahead and flour the top of my dough, and I use this like little like blade thing that came in the Amazon package that I was talking about earlier. And I just do like these little designs. I am not a professional or anything. I'm still trying to work on it. But all I know is that you have to try to make a good deep-ish cut, I guess. So once your dough rises, it has room to expand. But, you can use a sharp knife to do this. So I just use this because it came in the little, package, and it's pretty good. I like it. And I'm just here doing like these designs, and once my oven is like preheated for an hour and then my dough is ready, I just go ahead and put it in the oven. Sorry, my kids are just having fun and playing in the background. So mom life. But yeah, so once this is ready, I go ahead and put it in the Dutch oven with the lid on. I lower the temperature to 450, and I bake for 20 minutes. Then once the 20 minutes are up, I go ahead and take the lid off. Look at that beauty. I take the lid off and I set the timer for 25 minutes. And then this is what my bread looks like. You can do less time if you prefer. I just really like a very toasty crust, so that's why I do 25 minutes, but you could do a little bit less. And now I'm going to go ahead and score my other loaf. So my husband is actually trying to help me here. He's been trying to learn how to like score sourdough, because everyone has gotten an interest in my home to, try to learn how to do this. So here's my husband just doing a simple little design, I guess. And then once again, I have my Dutch oven preheating in the oven again. I go ahead and bump up the temperature to 500. Once it's preheated, I don't have to wait an hour because the Dutch oven is already hot because of the previous bread. So I go ahead and put my dough in the Dutch oven. Oh, I forgot to mention, use parchment paper. I love to use parchment paper because my bread doesn't burn from the bottom. So I go ahead and put the lid on, and like I said before, 20 minutes with the lid on, and then 25 minutes with the lid off. And here it is halfway through. It's beautiful. And then here is what it looks like once it's done. And these loaves are so good. We already ate half of one and we just baked it yesterday. So here my husband is, just showing how crusty the top is. I would show you guys or let you guys hear the original audio, but my kids were being nice and loud in the background, so I don't think you guys would hear much of it. But just know the crust was nice and crunchy. And so here it is, my husband just cutting it in the middle. I think we need better bread knives, honestly, because it's a little struggle here. But here is what the bread looks like. Look at that beautiful bread. It's nice and fluffy. It rose so well. It's so soft. And here is the other bread. My husband always trying to support my videos, trying to show how crusty and good it is. I just love how he's always supporting when I try to do my videos. And, it's just nice for him to always try to help me. And for my 2 followers, I tell him, but, hopefully someone gets a good use out of this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and hopefully one of you guys is able to make bread using this recipe. It's so easy, and if you guys would like to see more, please subscribe. I would love to have you here, and we'll see you in our next video. Bye bye.